This is Ian Utilli, the CEO at Attention Live, and I am live streaming here on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm going to dive right into something I want to talk about, and that's fatherhood. I am best at being a daddy. I'm a better daddy than I am a friend. I'm a better father than I am a futurist or a founder or any other thing I want to say to describe myself. There is no thing in my life I want to be better at than being a father. And I'm not talking about being a father to many people or being a big brother. I'm talking about being a father to Malachi Matthew Utilli and Kenton Cooper Utilli. And that is my number one thing. Even on LinkedIn, my number one way I describe myself is to be a father. It doesn't matter where I have a description of my life, it is father first, and it'll always be that way. I am all about it. And if there's another thing I'm passionate about, it's being a son. Today I'm here near Washington, D.C. I've been on the road for 2 weeks, and I had my dad, Gary Utilli, Gary Wayne Utilli, the man that I think, whatever heaven is like, I can imagine all the angels and all the people in heaven looking back at God and saying, it's possible for a man to be this amazing about my father. That's how I feel about him. And that's cool if my kids feel that way about me now or in the future. That's insignificant. I'm not living for their praise or their validation. I am living to love them and to serve them and to guide them and to be everything that they need and more. And so I just think there's a need to talk about what priorities. And my fatherness and my passion for being a dad doesn't keep me from doing what is important to me with my time in my life. To build this product, Attention Live, which is allowing me to live stream to our Amazon Alexa skill in real time at 10:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could be listening to me. You don't have to watch me. You could stop watching on these social media platforms and you could just listen to me on Alexa just by saying, Alexa, enable Attention Live, and then Alexa, enable, or open to Attention Live. It'll say what channel, say Ian Utilli, you'll be hearing me in real time right now. Or also you could see we added YouTube today, so that's a big improvement. And this is just an old iPad. This is my kid's old iPad, talking about being a daddy. I like to get my kids new iPads for Christmas because I know that this is the remote control of my life. And this is the remote control of my boys' lives in many ways. And I'm a big fan of technology. I often have people ask me, like, hey, Ian, if you don't know, I live in a treehouse with my 2 boys. Now, I'm only there in Santa Cruz maybe a dozen days a month. Obviously, I'm in Washington, D.C. now. I've been on the road for almost 2 weeks. I'm on the road another week and a half, New York, all over the East Coast. Then I fly my children out next Friday, and we are going to drive across America, which will be incredible to have that experience. My oldest son, Malachi, is turning 11, and that's his 11-year-old birthday present. And then, of course, Kenton gets to come with us. But I have a lot of people ask me, hey, you're a Silicon Valley guy. How do you balance being a daddy? There's no balance. I don't believe in balance. I don't believe in fairness. People ask me, do you miss your kids? Ian, do you miss your kids? You must miss your kids. No, definitely don't miss my kids. That would be just a posture of lack of contentment, lack of gratefulness, lack of thankfulness for what I'm doing this very second, which is being with you. I'm with you right now on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and on LinkedIn. I don't want to be missing something, wanting something else. I want to be very present with you right now. I look forward to being with my children. I like to FaceTime them as much as possible, and I enjoy time with them more than time with any other human, and they are my number one priority. But when I'm apart from my children, and when they are apart from me, we should not be needy. We should be content and grateful for what we do have together. And but people ask me about technology with my kids, not just balance. The balance question, I'm like, you know what? I'll tell you how I balance things. I live in a treehouse, and my 10-year-old sleeps on this arm, and my 7-year-old sleeps on this arm. That's balanced. And I'm living a fantasy as a father. It's the most incredible experience. Sometimes I just think about my kids and the life I live with them and I cry. Happy crying. Just overwhelmed with the emotion that I get to be a daddy like I do. And, you know, I am, I'm very grateful to be a dad. And I have people also ask me, because I'm from the Silicon Valley and I build tech companies, and I'm involved in a lot of different things outside of just technology. I'm involved in different faith communities, sometimes from a distance. I feel allergic sometimes to religion, but I find still a tremendous amount of joy in a spiritual life and in a life that is pursuing loving and serving and being gracious and generous and merciful and kind and long-suffering and patient and gentle. So they say, hey, what about technology? What do you think about your kids using technology? Well, you know, my boys are 11, almost, Malcolm's almost 11 and 7. And what do I think about technology? I think the worst thing I could ever do is to keep them away from it. Now, not you. If you on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook, or if you over there at LinkedIn or Instagram, if you want to keep your kids away from it, that maybe is the best thing you could do for your kids, but I'm not your kid's daddy. I'm my kid's daddy. And I want them fully integrated. I want to see that screen time up. And that may seem strange to all of you. Why would a guy ever think that that's a good idea? Well, let me tell you the fruitfulness of my children's life. My children are completely native with technology. They constantly are talking to either Siri or Alexa or Google Assistant. They talk to these voice devices for different reasons. They are playing games, they are learning, they are educating themselves, and that is a part of their life. But we still are outside swinging, and they're outside playing pretend games, and we're at the park and we're at the beach, and we build Legos, and we wrestle, and we go for walks, and we ride on scooters, and we are more active together, me and my children, than I was active as a child. And so I feel like it's not just that I'm all about this, I'm all about it all. But this has a lot to do with my kids' ability to provide the most value to themselves, to the people they're in relationship with, and to whoever is going to compensate them for their time in the future. And the fact that they're so native makes my heart smile. And so I'm all into it. Now, if their mom disagreed with me, then I would adjust out of honor and respect for her. But fortunately, we're on the same page for the most part with the tech stuff. And we kind of try to have a balance as parents. You know, we don't give them internet access. We protect them at the age that they're at. We want to make sure that we're providing some walls, some boundaries, if you will. And so I just want to take a moment because I'm showing the world the problem right now with communication. The problem with communication is that to communicate with you on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Facebook, I need 5 cell phones with LTE connections if I'm going to do it in my car like I've been doing. Or here, I'm fortunate, I have Wi-Fi. And sorry for the scratchiness on the phones, YouTube and Facebook. These things turned in on me. And then, of course, this is the solution, Attention Live. That's the solution. One place, live streaming just my voice without the pressure of you having to see me, look at my face. I'm trying not even to look at cameras anymore. I'm just trying to have a conversation. If you want to watch or listen, you're welcome to. And I do. Thank you for your attention. And I'll be back again with more in just a moment.